Do you ever get asked to play for your friends or family and you wish you had something to play, but at that moment either you can't think of a piece or maybe you don't feel confident, so you freeze up and end up not playing anything? Does that ever happen to you? I think the trick to playing confidently in front of people is to focus on the music. And I know that sounds super obvious, but a lot of the time, instead of focusing on the music, we focus on how good we are appearing, how good we want to look, how fast or complicated we can play, rather than focusing on the tone, on the expression, and on the sound. And so today I'd like to share with you a piece that I think is great. It's one of these melodies that most people recognize, and is a perfect piece to share with others, because you don't have to worry about playing fast. It goes quite slow and you can be completely immersed in the music. So let's get started. If you've been following our other lessons, you'll have noticed that we always break things down and we try to make things as easy as possible. We're going to be using a capo on the 3rd fret, and there are really just 2 parts to this piece that we have to learn. The first section, which is in the key of E minor, and it's only 8 bars long. And then we have a middle bit, a shorter section in G major, which is 4 bars long. So we're going to call it A and B, and the structure goes A, B, A. So at the end we have the repeat of the first section. Here's how the theme starts. There's a certain calming quality to this melody. It's slow and the rhythm is very even. Just ticking along, we're mainly using 8th notes. And we can break this melody down into 2 main phrases, which are very similar. The first one starts on a B and ends on a B. And the second phrase begins on a B, but ends with this little chromatic passage, which adds a little bit of tension. You can see that I'm using the index and the middle finger, kind of alternating it. And I rest my thumb on the bass string. And that gives me a really secure position. I feel like I can accurately play the notes. I don't feel like I'm going to miss a note or hit a wrong note. So that's a great setup to start, with the thumb on the bass string and alternating with the index and the middle fingers. Now the next bit is really cool. We get a diminished arpeggio. See, it's just a straight diminished arpeggio starting on A. And diminished chords are usually used to heighten the tension of music. And you can hear that that's what's happening here. There's something despairing about this part. Now feel free to use some vibrato here. And there's a cool slide as well. So then, after that, the first part ends with a similar melody as we heard for the first time, but this time starting on the G and ending on an E an octave lower. Then comes the B section, which is in G major. So we move from a minor key into a major key. And you can hear that there's a certain nostalgia to this section. It's really the semitones and the chromatic notes, the notes that don't belong to G major, that give this nostalgic feeling. You can hear from the E going E, E flat into D. That sounds kind of nostalgic. There again from the C into the B. So after this section, we return into the A section, and it's almost identical as we heard for the first time, except for the last note. Actually, except for the last two notes. You have a D sharp and an E rather than a D sharp and an E an octave lower. So it's really helpful to learn the melody because you can get a sense of the overall structure of the piece. And I actually like memorizing it so that I can really get to know the piece well. And I find that the deeper that I go into a piece, the more expressive I can be. But once you're ready to take it to the next level, we can add some bass notes and a few harmony notes. So let's have a look at the overall form for the full arrangement. So we've seen that this piece has two sections. But before we introduce the melody, there's usually a 4-bar introduction, which is there just to provide a little bit of suspense, a little bit of a build-up. So the form of the arrangement will be a little introduction, which is 4 bars long, the A section, the B section, and then ending with the A section again. So here's how the introduction sounds. So the introduction is really based on a 1-bar pattern that gets repeated. And you'll notice that in this piece we're going to be using sometimes 2, 3, or even 4 notes at once. So if you're not used to playing chords, it's a good idea to just practice it beforehand. So you could practice playing 2 notes at the same time, 3 notes at the same time, and 4 notes. Just get a feel of the strings and notice that the thumb strikes outward and the fingers strike toward the palm of the hand. And try the move from the bass knuckle rather than doing from your smaller knuckles. It's a bit like opening a jar like this. So in the introduction we pluck, the thumb moves down into the 4th string, from the 6th string to the 4th string. And on the last time the melody comes in, that's a 4-part chord, 4-note chord, another chord, and some harmony notes. Now this is an E over G. Try to get there a little bit earlier. And then we have a little chromatic passage. Then we have our diminished arpeggio. Now when you slide to the 5th position there, guide the slide with the 4th finger there. Then we have 2 bass notes here, the A, then a B, and the last 2 notes I'm going to play with the thumb. And then we have the B section. And this is like a D over F sharp chord. And I'm playing that with my 4th finger. Into a G chord. If you can't hold all of this together, then just do the note. You can go like this. Then into an F. That last phrase is really cool. A lot of chromatic notes there. So it ends on like a B over F sharp. So in this section we have D over F sharp, G, F, and then a B7 over F sharp. And then we go back to the A section. the ending, we have a D sharp and then an E chord. So it's quite helpful to practice just the chords. You could just do, for the first part, you could just play the chords like this. And then when you have this slide into the 5th position, you can play up there. And then on the B section, when you have that D over F sharp into G, you can practice the F. So, you know, find the best way that works for you, but a lot of times isolating sections can be really helpful. So that's the arrangement, guys. I hope that was a useful lesson. All the tabs are going to be up on our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/altguitar. Do check it out. We have a lot of guitar scores there. Please do subscribe to our channel and click that like button, and don't forget the notifications bell. Thanks so much for supporting us, guys, and see you soon.